Welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. Today I have an exciting guest, a good friend of mine, and he have a lot of knowledge about local politics and state politics, and it's an honor and privilege to have my friend Jonathan Ettinger, who I know for many years. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, good to be here,
nice
Jose.
to see you. So, you know, it's getting really exciting at this time because now we know who is running each ticket for the Republicans and Democrats, everyone. The primaries are over, and now, and we're having actually the latest news, and I read the Detroit News actually, we talk about governor race, is that the Democrat ticket, or Whitmer, she's getting the endorsement of so many Republicans. So what do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's just a group of disgruntled Republicans. It's to be expected. Because let's put it this way. For as much as people like to talk about, you know, all together for the party unity, I mean, remember the state convention, everything was hotly contested up to it, then now we're all united. No, you're never united, ever. So you had a group of them who just have their own personal problems with Schuette, so they're going out there saying, I'm a Republican and I support Whitmer. They're just trying to hurt Schuette. They don't actually like Whitmer, they're just against Schuette. I mean, one of them's from the Yob family, okay? Gee, what was John Yob doing prior to, oh yeah, that's right, running Brian Kelly's campaign.
Brian Kelly, who ran against Bill Schuette on the primary.
The Yobs have been one of the most divisive families in Republican politics in this state for what, 10, 20, probably even going on 30 years. Yeah, it's not surprising.
But U.S. Congressman Joe Schwartz, why he's endorsing?
Former congressman, also irrelevant.
Okay, all right.
He's just hoping that his name still carries some kind of weight and that someone will listen to him. I won't, I don't care.
Okay, but what is your prediction? You think Bill Schuette is going to do well?
That's going to be a hard one to call because, see, when you really look at it, I mean, the most hotly contested race statewide is the gubernatorial. We're a month and a half away and no one cares. You see Whitmer ads on TV, I flip past them. I see Schuette ads on TV, I flip past them. I don't care. Most people don't care. Most people still have no idea, even though it was just selected, who's even running for Attorney General or anything else. See, now here's the thing to keep in mind though, okay? It's not just Schuette versus Whitmer. It's not just Nessel versus Leonard for AG, okay? There are 6 different tickets running for governor and lieutenant governor from 6 different parties, okay? There are 4 who are running for Secretary of State, and there's 5 running for Attorney General. One of them is a guy with no party affiliation.
Oh yeah, I saw you posted on Facebook, because I'm friend with you on Facebook, and you posted as an independent running, right? Or libertarian? Was that?
No, well, there's a Libertarian Party candidate, but there's a guy who has literally no party affiliation who qualified for the ballot himself. Okay? Now, again, we're a month and a half away. Does anyone know anything about him? Unfortunately, a lot of these things come down to money. At the end of the day, what you're really going to see is people voting more by party than by person, okay? That applies for the governor's race and especially things down the ticket. Now, the real thing to keep in mind, I mean, if you would have asked me this, you know, say like a week after the primary, I would have said, no, I think the Democrats have a great chance of taking a number of things. But what's changed since then? Straight ticket voting is gone. One of the strongest tools in the biggest urban areas in this state for Democrats is gone. So expect there are going to be a lot of races with a lot of undervotes, because there are going to be people who show up, and now it can happen with Republicans too, but I'm going to expect it to happen with Democrat voters more. But you're going to have people who show up and vote just for the governor's race and don't mark anything else. People who vote for governor, Secretary of State, Attorney General, and don't vote for anything else. They may not even vote for the congressional races, okay? This is going to leave a lot of down-ticket Democrats struggling far worse than they ever had before. Take nothing for granted, okay? So it's parties. Really, the decision is, it comes down to who shows up. Some are going to show up and vote Republican just to vote Republican. Some are going to show up and vote Democrat just to vote Democrat. What about the rest though? What do they know? How much do they care? How much time are they going to put into it? That's what I want. I want informed voters who go in there making specific decisions. Know the candidate, know something about them. Don't just vote for the one that happens to be of party whatever.
You're right. I recall on 2012 and 14 elections and 16 too, most of the people in November will vote in Clarkson at least. I talk about Clarkson. Most of the people vote straight ticket. And Republicans, just North Oakland County, will win just by carrying the straight ticket. But if it's no straight ticket, when I see some other, sometimes it appears that the people that votes, picking and choosing, they don't go and flip the ballot and go in the bag. No, they go for the maybe governor, U.S. Senate, and then they leave it. And that can be a problem, probably, like you said, more for the Democrats. You're right, because they have more voting people in the South.
Well, see, and that's the funny thing about this, okay? People have complained for years about how the straight ticket voters don't bother to vote in the nonpartisan races or the proposals. Now you don't even have a straight ticket option, so there are plenty of other ones which would have been accounted for with a straight ticket that, okay, a perfect example of how straight ticket voting affects and warps elections. In 2012, as you know, I ran for county commissioner in my district in Genesee County as the Libertarian Party candidate. There was no Democrat in that race. Now, I got almost 5,000 votes total. Not even 200 of them were straight ticket Libertarian. However, there were more undervotes in my race than what I got. Why? Because of people who voted straight ticket Democrat or straight ticket something else and didn't even vote in my race. That's what straight ticket voting did. But now without it, you're gonna find those same people struggling to vote for more than 1 to even 5 races. So yeah, there's gonna be a much higher turnout for statewide races than local district type things. I almost guarantee it. So it'll be a really interesting thing to see.
Yeah. So we don't know what can happen. I mean,
well, some people would have predicted that some of the proposals would have really gotten more Democrats to show up. But you don't know that that's the case. I mean, let's look at it this way. Okay, a rough figure, and I'm just making this up to prove a point. Let's just say that around 40% of the people are actually informed and follow politics, okay? Now, of those, you've got about 1/5 of them who, because they're informed, decide to stay home and not vote. I know a lot of those type of people. Now, of the other 60% who aren't so informed, you've still got anywhere from 2/5 to 2/3 who do show up and vote, when all they know about government is what they've seen in the news for the last 2 months before the election. You see? And this is one of the worst problems. We have low information voters making a critical difference in our elections, and they don't even know what's going on. I mean, most people couldn't even name the Republican or Democrat candidates for Attorney General, much less the Republicans and Democrats running for State Board of Education or U of M Board of Regents. They definitely don't know who the candidates are from the Libertarian Party or the Taxpayers Party, or of all things, in my congressional district, 5th Congressional, there's actually a candidate from the Workers' Party running. So there's a Democrat, a Republican, and someone who's to the left of the Democrat. But people don't know. And if you don't know, you shouldn't vote. Take the time, learn about the candidates, actually care, or stay home. Okay, that's all I really want out of people.
Of course, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, people should be informed who you're voting for, because these people is going to be elected in November are going to be making strong decisions for us. Yeah, and we want more jobs, we want the economies to go up. No, I agree with you. But now, going back to the election, Attorney General, you mentioned most people don't know who is running in the tickets. But what is your prediction? I guess, do you think Tom Leonard have a chance or Nessel?
The only thing I'm even going to remotely come close to predicting at all statewide is, I think, even without the Republicans for Whitmer faction, I think Whitmer has a small edge over Schuette. But if nothing else, it's because we just went through 8 years of Republican Snyder, and people tend to just, swing the pendulum back and forth. We had 8 years of Engler. Okay, let's go to Granholm. 8 years of Granholm. Okay, let's go to Snyder. Now we're going to go that way. And you know what?
Hopefully no, but
I won't vote for Whitmer, but I will accept a Governor Whitmer, and I'll tell you why. She will be Jennifer Granholm all over again, but she won't have nearly the pull to try to cut deals in those legislature, okay? Even if the Democrats flip enough seats in the state house, it's virtually impossible for them to get control of the state Senate. We're gonna have gridlock. We're gonna have people whining about gridlock. I'm gonna be celebrating the gridlock.
why? Why are you gonna be celebrating?
Because my personal preference is don't pass new laws, let's get rid of the old laws. Let's get rid of government. And if you're not going to do that, then I'd at least rather have you do nothing. I'd rather have gridlock, obstructionist, nothing happen than doing more things that further infringe on my life.
So, okay, so you think Democrats are not carry the Senate and they won't be able to take the House?
It's next to impossible for them to get the Senate. They could get the House.
Why is it impossible?
Largely because of how the districts have already been drawn, and we've had Republican control of the state Senate for, decades now. So, yeah, I don't see that changing.
Okay, and the House? The House flipped during Granholm time, though.
The House has a chance to flip maybe in some cases, like in my case, in the the 51st district. Sure, it's always leaned more Republican, but by a very tiny margin. It's a margin that's actually gotten smaller over the last 15 years. So it's possible. Something like in your district, far less likely because the Republicans are more likely to win. Fine. But either way, it doesn't matter. Republicans will still hold the Senate. And all you're going to have is a bunch of partisan bickering while people like me sit back and celebrate the fact that nothing's happening.
I see. But now, if this proposal about changing the districts for the House and the state Senate, if that passes, and Democrats have a control of that, and
well,
let's see the Secretary of State become a Democrat because George Soros is putting a lot of money in the race, and most people don't know that, but it's happening. And according to the proposal, the Secretary of State will have the power to appoint some of those people or something like that.
Well, here's what you have to understand about the proposal, okay?
Okay, let's get that.
Because right now, the way things are done is the legislature draws the districts. And people say, oh no, gerrymandering.
Yeah.
There is no way to draw districts without gerrymandering unless you get rid of the human element.
Okay.
You need a perfectly numeric-based system, and we don't even know what that would be or how to do it, okay? This proposal, first off, I hate the language of it, because it talks about, and there will be so many of the two major parties selected, and the rest from people who well, first off, there are 3 major parties in Michigan right now. Since the 2016 election, the Libertarian Party counts as a major party status in Michigan. So already the people who drafted this thing don't know what they're talking about, and that's evident. But really all that's going to happen is you're going to have some diehard Democrats, some diehard Republicans, and a few other people, and they're just going to make a similar mess to what the legislature does anyway. It's literally just changing hands, trading off who gets to wield the power to screw everything around. It's not going to fix anything. It's just a power grab. The Democrats are hoping that they can take this populist idea and get enough independents leaning their way that they can control the districting without controlling the legislature. That's all it is. It's one of the stupidest things ever, and if anyone knows anything about trying to have legitimate government instead of just playing, power grab, then they would vote against it.
But if that passed, though, I know the structure probably is not going to work. I understand it's not going to be a big change. But for Democrats, though, if they get the Secretary of State, if they get to pass this proposal, that we allow them to actually be able to change the district and help them to gain some seats.
Well, first off, all it's really doing is it changes who gets to do the districting. But the districting only changes with every new census, okay? So it's only going to be after the 2020 census is counted. So first we're going to have a little bit of a buffer where we don't, in that meantime, I'm thinking about it, it's only the 2018 election right now. That could get passed now and then have something on the 2020 ballot that completely undoes it before they have a chance to do anything.
Okay, okay. So
nothing is set in stone, nothing will change immediately, so it's too early to call.
So at this point, what's going on is Democrats won't win the House, the Senate, at all. It's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I would be genuinely shocked, yeah.
All right, but for what I'm hearing, I guess Republicans in South Oakland County is kind of, Mary Nolenberg seat is kind of right now, is in a big fight right now, I hear.
Some seats might be, and it all depends on the district and the candidates. Because there are many candidates who, you know, are in the House going for Senate or are in the House or Senate going for re-election, that the people might not really like them anymore. So it's hard to say which way they're going to go. If Democrats get control, it's not going to be overwhelming control of the House. It's going to be ever so slightly.
Okay.
So anything that takes more than a slim majority, they're going to have to work with Republicans anyway.
Okay, all right. No, I see what you're saying. So, all right, but that's because I remember it was a time where the Democrats got the House, but still the Senate, like you mentioned before, it was Republican. It was still difficult for Granholm to move anything.
Yeah,
Everything. I didn't see
that's
nothing
why
positive.
Granholm had to sweet talk and make deals with people like Brian Calley to get her stuff passed. Because it was all people playing politics, playing favors, instead of going there and doing what they promised to do. People need to focus on the government as, look at the individual you're voting
you
for.
say Granholm was Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly was a state rep at the time, right?
Brian Calley in the legislature was part of the Republican team that worked with Governor Granholm and actually changed our taxes and passed some of the Granholm taxes.
Okay, all right, good to
Trust me,
remember.
he's not an absolute Republican obstructionist, okay? He'll cut deals if they're going to get him something, and plenty of Republicans are like that. So are Democrats, because they don't care. They want what they want, and they're going to cut whatever deal it takes to get it. Now, if people have true principles, they should be upset with people who do that, and actually vote for someone who genuinely cares, who wants to do what's right for government and for the people, not just someone who wants a job, a title, and a paycheck, you know?
Yeah, right. No, I agree with you 100% because I have principles and I respect my principles. No, I understand why people should be upset about things like that. Now, for Secretary of State now, we have a clear, because the last time you were here, we didn't know who's gonna win the Republican nominee. Now is Mary Lang.
Mary Trader Lang,
Yes, against it's gonna be the Democrat. She ran before.
Jocelyn Benson.
You're right.
If I recall, didn't she run for Attorney General years ago?
No, for Secretary of State.
Oh, that's what it was.
Against Ruth Johnson.
Oh, so she ran for Secretary of State before, lost, and now she's doing it again. Okay. Yeah. Tell me why I should care.
Well, I mean, the Secretary of State is in control of the elections. I mean, that's why if this proposal pass, if we have a Democrat there, they will be able to make it more favorable to appoint, you know, some of the position Democrats for
perhaps,
this map.
But don't discount the power in the legislature to tell the Secretary of State no.
Right.
So nothing is as simple as they'd like it to be.
Right. But you see, also during the Ruth Johnson administration, she cut a lot of expenditure. Like back in the day, a lot of Secretary of State used to have the name up there, spend more taxpayer money, and print the name and all the brochures. So she cut a lot of those. And then, I mean, she was be able to not balance the budget, but put more money back into taxpayer because she didn't spend much money there. And it's very efficient. I mean, I hear people that live in other states, they always say in Michigan, they can get the play right away. You know, you don't have to wait weeks, months to be able to get the play and things like that.
No, and there have been some genuine improvements under Secretary Johnson. I'll give you that. But let's look at the candidates for, okay? I know next to nothing about what Mary Trader Lang is proposing, okay? At best, we could hope that she'd be like Ruth Johnson's been. But, you know, she might be more like Gee, who was that person we had in office before Ruth Johnson?
Oh, Terry Lingland.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well. But now look at Jocelyn Benson. Oh, she's promising we're going to have in and out in 30 minutes, expedite getting through the... Guess what? I know people who work for Secretary of State at the local office level. You can't promise that. There's too many variables, which shows you that Benson doesn't know what she's talking about. She's making empty promises just to draw appeal and get votes when it's never going to work anyway.
Okay, empty promises. Yeah, so she's using populism.
Yeah,
just telling people what they want to hear.
It's all more politics and nothing behind it.
All right.
All flash, no substance.
Okay. What about the one who's running in the Democrat ticket for Attorney General, Nessel?
Dana Nessel.
Yeah.
Know very little about her. She's definitely on the further left side of the Democratic Party, though, which if there's any moderate centrist Democrats left, they might want to consider not voting for her. I mean, hey, I've seen the ad where supposedly she worked for a firm who actually protected the bad guys, and I'd be concerned about that. But then again, you know what? Politics is politics. Everyone makes something. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, most of the voters are going to pick Republican or Democrat, regardless of who the candidate is, regardless of anything they've done or said. And that's it. It's just a numbers game of who shows up.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, who do you think is the best Democrat on this race for 2018?
The best Democrat overall?
Yeah, out of the whole ticket. Well, you talk about Nessel, talk about Jocelyn Benson, Whitmer, you're talking about...
If I were going to pick the best Democrat running for office this year in Michigan, I'll keep it down to Michigan, I'm going to go with Dave Lossing, the guy running for state rep in my district.
Okay.
He's my former mayor. He worked from public affairs for the University of Michigan for years. I like the guy. I agree with him on virtually nothing, but I like the guy.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about the best I can give you.
And for the Republicans?
Yeah, pass.
Really? Wow.
I don't care.
Libertarians, who's the best for this election?
There's not many running for anything now that they had to actually compete in the primary, which was a complete mess.
No?
So, actually, I'm going to say without knowing anything else, two.
Two.
Bill Jeleno, who's the candidate for governor, and then my friend Scotty Bowman, who I can't remember if he's running for Board of Education or one of the colleges, but it's one of the two.
Okay, those two.
Yeah.
Now, who is the best candidate nation-wise for the Libertarians?
Oh, I'm waiting to see what happens with Gary Johnson out in New Mexico.
I was waiting you to say that.
No, I'm loving that, okay? I mean, consider this, okay? Michigan had to fight to get rid of straight ticket voting. New Mexico was already rid of it. Once Gary Johnson entered the race and polling showed where he was a genuine threat to the incumbent Democrat, the Democrat Secretary of State there tried to re-implement straight ticket voting in New Mexico.
Wow.
And the court said, no. So, hey, Rand Paul, sitting U.S. Republican senator, endorsed Gary Johnson for Senate in New Mexico.
I saw that.
Over the quote-unquote Republican, whose name I can never, ever remember. It was Mick Rich or something, which makes me think of McRib, and you know.
Yeah, and you see, the guy have principles. Everything he says, he's done it before as a governor, because he's a former governor.
He's not the strongest on principle, but by and large, he at least has a more committed base of ideals than other people.
Well, far as I know, he's done what he promised.
Yeah,
and
I can give you that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that a lot of people remembers is when he went on TV and some interviewer, ask him if he remembers
know.
or he can quote or who's his favorite president and why or something, and he couldn't remember anybody.
But that just means you don't necessarily like
Well,
him.
but a lot of people always stick that in the mind. I know that. But listen.
But that's why it's great that he's just running in New Mexico where people know him.
Oh, yeah.
And trust me, he's got a lot of support.
No, I do believe you, and it's sad to see what you just mentioned, that the Democrats are trying to change the law right away to make sure that
that's politics, man. Everyone wants to rig the game to favor themselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was surprised for your answer that you didn't find any Republicans. No Tom Leonard, no. Who else is Maryland?
No, the best I could give you statewide of Republicans, probably John James for Senate.
John James, okay.
But I feel quite badly because even without straight ticket voting, there's enough middle of the road people that are going to probably keep Stabenow in office anyway.
Why is that?
It's the same thing. Let's look at it this way. About a decade ago, I was out door to door supporting Hogendijk for U.S. Senate and his run against Carl Levin.
Yes.
I can't even tell you how many people I talked to who hated Granholm but liked Levin. There's this little disconnect in some people's minds. And they do the same thing with Stabenow. I mean, look at the commercials she airs. Oh, I'm going to help the Great Lakes. I'm going to blah, 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 drug prices. She's done nothing about any of this stuff for years. All she's doing is giving a bunch of empty promises to make you think, yeah, no. And people are going to buy it, and they'll vote for her. And no. Our best hope in the U.S. Senate race is that there's enough of a drop-off of people voting in that race that John James can pull ahead.
Which is going to be difficult because the ticket's going to start with governor, and I think the second one is...
It goes governor, secretary of state, attorney general, then the congressional races.
Oh, U.S. Senate, where it goes?
Well, U.S. Senate is one of the congressional. In fact,
oh,
I can't remember right now if the Senate one is listed above the U.S. House or not, but they're both after the attorney general and secretary of state. So I don't know. But then again, hey, Republicans are more likely to actually go down ballot and pick each race.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And hopefully, we want that. Encourage a lot of people to go to the ballot and flip the ballot too and keep going there.
And encourage them beforehand, actually, to spend your time online looking up information. Know who these people are. Vote for the Green candidate if that's who you honestly like, okay? I don't care. I'd rather you honestly vote for the working class party than just vote for Democrat to stop Republican.
So do you think on this election in 2018 we're going to have a bigger turnout? You think it's going to be like we're going to have more people?
There could be a larger turnout, and it might not actually show in the results just because of the lack of straight ticket voting. I honestly don't know.
You are right.
I really don't know.
That may happen too, yeah.
I mean, you could find where you have a huge turnout for the governor's race and virtually nothing for state legislature races.
On 2016 Trump election, the turnout was higher than the 2016, higher than 2014?
Yeah, it went up a little bit, and part of that was because there were a lot of people who previously didn't care, who were like, you know what? I'm with Trump. I'm going to go do that. And that's what that was. Yeah, presidential races always, years always tend to be higher than non anyway.
Yeah.
But 16 was even higher than 12. And that's because a lot of people came out and supported Trump who otherwise might not have voted. So who knows?
So what do you think about President Trump? Do you think he's doing a good job? So-so?
It's a mixed bag at best.
Really?
Definitely. I liked his first Supreme Court pick. I'm in between on his second pick. The whole tariff thing, I'm hoping is just a strategic negotiating move because tariffs are stupid. I don't know.
Why do you think tariffs are stupid? Why?
Economically speaking, anything protectionist is going to be bad.
Okay.
Because when you are putting an additional tax on people's ability to export their goods to our consumers, okay, A, you're going to get them less likely to send us their stuff, and B, it just gets added on into the price we pay for the goods that do come here. People put the tariff to try to help domestic production. it's not going to help domestic anything. Helping domestic production depends on domestic resources, domestic labor, cost inputs. Increasing the prices of imported goods does not turn around and help domestic goods.
Okay, so you don't think like if some product from China can really cheaper than something that we make here, people most likely is gonna buy the things from China because they're cheap, a lot cheaper.
And that's precisely why so much is made out in Asia, because the labor is so much cheaper, okay? People have to remember, parts in Asia, especially China, Taiwan, etc., from a production standpoint, are very similar now to where the United States was in the early 20th century, okay? You can't just magically make them be on the same level we are. We need to be working more on what's next, going forward, instead of trying to have a vice-like grip of holding on to whatever we can. The cars are gone, man, okay? Textiles are gone. There's only so much we have left. We need to move forward. Understand that it's a global economy now, and there are just some things we won't be able to make cheaper, period. Especially not when people keep screaming about, I want to be paid more money for doing less work.
I see. Well, I mean, I think Trump says he believes that he wants to make better deals for us, and that the way how he showed he thinks is a better deal by.
But one of the best ways to help with international trade is to get government out of the way and make it more about supply and demand.
So what do you think about NAFTA too?
Oh, even Democrats hated NAFTA.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the only people who benefited from NAFTA were the corporations involved. That's it. Everyone else is hurt, because what was one of the first things that happened with NAFTA? More of our manufacturing went to Mexico because it was cheaper.
But now it's coming back. I mean, we have...
But that has more to do with economic cycles, and that's in spite of NAFTA, not because of it. Okay? That's more of a reaction. It's the pendulum swinging the other way.
Oh, no. But since Trump getting office, I mean, we saw some of the first results. People, came. I don't say NAFTA is making...
But
I mean, you're right.
How long? How long will we keep it? Because think about it. If we open more factories here, how long before we go through the same problems again of, no, $10 isn't enough. I need $15 per hour. No, 15 is not enough. I need $30 per hour. The more expensive you make it to produce goods domestically, the more people are going to build their things elsewhere. We need to figure out and identify what we can do better than others and excel in that instead of just trying to hold on to parts of everything.
Okay, but overall, so you says Trump is doing an okay job then?
It's a mixed bag. Definitely better than Obama. Better than W. Arguably better than anyone since Reagan, and potentially better than Reagan. It all depends on what matters most to you and how you're looking at it.
Well, what about North Korea? You think what's a good deal?
We're still waiting to find out.
We're still waiting to find out, okay.
Because I'm not going to put a whole lot of money into guarantees that come from someone whose name is Kim Jong.
Okay, but you feel like the international community respect more United States than 4 years ago?
No.
No?
It's just the United States also gives less of a damn than they did 4 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, you and Ambassador Nikki Haley basically went there and said, you know what? Screw you guys. You're worthless. You're making everything worse. We're done. That's one of the best things I've seen happen in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember at one point, he made a statement saying then why we should give money, taxpayer money, to countries that don't support us in the United Nations. Why we give taxpayer money to subsidize some of these countries, give them money, and they vote against us. What good is for us?
Oh yeah, and hey, look at the Human Rights Council. They've done everything but support human rights globally. So yeah, that was, again, this is part of the mixed bag that is Donald Trump. He's made some very pro-liberty improvements in some ways, and quite a few steps the other direction in other places. So overall, still better than what we had the last 8 years.
Okay, good to hear that. I want to hear your opinion on that, because you're libertarian, and I want to see your opinion, how you look at it from your perspective.
No, not a problem.
All right. So, a prediction. So, do you think Republicans still have a chance for governor? A chance?
Yeah, it's not ruled out, but yeah.
Yeah. Attorney General?
Flip a coin, man.
Secretary of State?
Flip another coin.
Wow.
Well, hey, you got to remember, okay, when Engler was in office and we had a Republican Secretary of State, we had Democrat Jennifer Granholm was our Attorney General. Mm-hmm. What happened when Granholm was governor? We actually had Republican Mike Cox as our Attorney General. Mm-hmm. Who knows? It's possible Democrats could take governor and Secretary of State and we still have a Republican Attorney General. They don't. By and large, people trust Republicans more on security than they trust Democrats.
So U.S. Senate for you is kind of really hard. You think?
Yeah, because too many people are just going to blindly vote for Stabenow without knowing a damn thing.
All right.
They just will.
What about U.S. Congress on this district? Mike Bishop. You think he have a chance?
Unless someone can come up with like the most ridiculous thing to just stick it to him, the Bishop's not going anywhere. The 8th Congressional is as safe for Republicans as the 5th is for Democrats, okay?
Okay, good to know. I mean,
it's what it is.
Okay, all right. So, and the Republicans will keep the Senate for sure, the House,
State Senate, yeah.
House for sure.
We'll wait and see. Some seats yes, some no.
The school board?
Let's not go down there. We don't have that kind of time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we see. I think the Republicans have good candidates. It's Tammy also, something. Tammy and Dr. Seal.
Yeah, Dr. Z's been there a while, but
yeah, but yeah. I mean, now it's gonna be hard because it's no straight ticket. So now.
Hey.
I mean, those guys have to campaign hard. I mean, and it's good when the candidates are campaigning hard too. Don't get me wrong.
Except that they're not campaigning hard. They're just counting on people to vote for them by party. Hey, I won't lie. More than not, when it comes to those university things, I tend to pick somebody from the Taxpayers Party and someone from.
Are you seriously?
I know people that are on that ballot that are running as Libertarians or Taxpayers Party. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Joe Sanger, fine. Let's not do that. Okay. Scotty Bowman, sure. Why not? You know, it's hell. Kerry Morgan running for, a judicial one. I know that guy too.
Some of the, for example, at UAV, I know Andrew Richner is they're already elected 2 times. Is this third election?
And I don't even know who that is or know anything about him. So it comes down to why should I care?
Well, Andrew Richner is a successful attorney, former state rep. Then it's Diane Dunaskis at Wayne State University. Diane Dunaskis.
Still don't care.
Her husband was a Senate.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of the name, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Show me who they are. Show me what they've done. Tell me why I should care.
Well, I see.
They're just counting on party support and nothing else. All of them.
Well, probably, but now it's no straight ticket. So I mean, I don't think so. They're getting party support. I mean,
but
they need to go.
But do you see them actively campaigning and trying?
I see them going around, yeah, I do, but I mean,
you do because you're in Oakland County and
right,
you're attending Republican functions. That's different.
No, I mean, I go a lot of functions. I go everywhere. I go to the different chamber of commerces, different districts. So I see people around. But I see what you're saying. I mean,
they're not contacting all the regular voters.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. It's going to be hard, obviously, for those people because they are in the bar of the ticket.
Yeah.
Right. And probably it's going to be too many names now. Like you mentioned, it's what, 7 parties?
Well, no, I think it might only be 6 parties, but not every party has people in every race. So
6 parties, but for Attorney General are 7 because it's one.
Attorney General only has 5 candidates, 4 that are with parties and 1 guy with no party. Not every party has an AG candidate. Because remember, you got to remember, not every party has somebody in every race. Only the Republicans and Democrats do that.
Yeah, but now, I mean, the other parties, parties I know they don't have a chance, right?
And a lot of that comes down to our election law and the habits of voters. Okay, I mean, one of the worst things we do in this state and pretty much anywhere else in the country is that we have what's called first past the post voting, okay? Where, let's say you have 6 candidates for something, and the person with the most votes got 35%. Yeah, well, that means 65% said, no, not that person. But it doesn't matter. They have the more than anyone else number, okay? They have a plurality, so they win. Because we don't care about majority support. We don't do runoff elections. We need to have ranked choice voting so people feel more secure to say, I like this guy best. I want her. I want this one, you know? So that way I can, let's say, select the Republican 4th instead of worrying about having to select them first just to, quote, stop the Democrat. The system is rigged against the voters in favor of the parties. That's the simplest way I can put it.
Okay. Which...
And when I say the parties, I mean the 2 biggest ones. That's why the smaller ones are always struggling and never get a fair shot.
Well, in New Mexico, they have a shot, right?
And that's because they have entirely different laws and a whole different game than what we do. Michigan is rigged to go Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. End of story. And unless and until we change the election laws here, that's not going to change.
Yeah, even in presidential race, I don't recall when is the last time that a party actually win the electoral college vote besides Republicans and Democrats. I think was since Johnson, when he have Wallace running as a third party.
I think that's probably true, yeah.
Yeah, because
even Ross Perot, with all his money in 1992, got no electors anywhere.
No, he got votes a lot, but he didn't.
But he didn't get, and that's a whole other thing of how the electors are decided. But we could spend like 2 hours talking about that mess alone. So
yeah, but I think it was Johnson. He won, and there was Wallace, and there was somebody else. The
that was Nixon. 68, Nixon.
No, Nixon wasn't running yet. Johnson was going for, instead, John Kennedy was for the, basically Kennedy re-election, but Johnson took over as a vice president after Kennedy's assassination. So Johnson was running for the second term.
Johnson ran in 64.
64.
Wallace was involved in the 68 race, though.
Oh, okay.
That was Humphrey was the Democrat candidate because Johnson opted not to run.
Okay. Yeah, but I remember Wallace got some electoral college.
Oh, no, Wallace did, but he was the last time that someone other than just Republican or Democrat actually got electors, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm fairly certain of it.
Yeah. All right, well, our time's up. Always enjoy talking with you, man. I wish we have more time sometimes, but, well.
It's only been 2 hours now.
I know, but which I know a lot of people enjoy to hear Jonathan Ettinger because he knows a lot about politics.
I'm making it up as I go, honestly.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, for your time. I appreciate you a lot to come here to Clarkston.
No,
and
glad to do
hopefully we can do this next time, maybe in a couple of weeks when we're close to the primary, we have more data, more polls, and we see what's going on.
Well, we'll see what goes when, yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Not a problem.
Okay.